Mr. Foreman, have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor. We find the defendant, Harry Connors, not guilty.
Not guilty?
Mr. Kemp, take your seat. Thank you, gentlemen. I know this has been a difficult case for you. And under the circumstances, you brought in the only decision possible. Nevertheless, I'm not entirely convinced that justice was served by this acquittal. Court is adjourned.
Thank you.
Forget it.
Man, how about that crazy trial, huh? Come on, I'll buy you a drink, huh?
Later on.
No, Dad, you didn't hear me very well, so I'm going to buy you a drink. Now.
Lieutenant, how could this happen? You were on the case. You know he's guilty.
I know, Mr. Kemp.
He's free. And I testified against him. How much is my life worth now?
The Harry Connors story began at 11 o'clock on a June morning, 15 minutes after Connors was freed on an assault and robbery charge by a jury of his peers. I was on my way to represent a rather important client in a civil suit, and I was in a hurry.
Lieutenant, why don't you go back in the building and I'll come back up the stairs and we'll start all over again, huh?
That wouldn't be necessary if you were as shifty on your feet as some of your colleagues, Counselor.
Now, what kind of a crack is that?
Tell me something, Herb. How does it make a lawyer feel to free a guilty man?
That one?
That one.
I must be behind the times. I thought you were still in the Detective Bureau. When'd they make you a judge?
You don't have to be a chicken to tell a bad egg. I think even Connors' counsel was a little sick about this one.
Who'll handle the case?
Wayne Powell.
Now you're way off the track. I know Powell. He's smart and he's honest.
Let me fill you in on the details, Herb. Harry Connors beat up and robbed a pool room owner by the name of George Kemp. George Kemp saw it, and he testified that he saw it. But Powell found out that Kemp wears contact lenses and that he wasn't wearing them that night. So what did the lawyer pound away at? The reasonable doubt issue.
Well, if Kemp's eyes were bad and there were no witnesses, it would seem there was reasonable doubt.
But he recognized Connors' voice. And there were 4 witnesses that saw Connors running away from Kemp's apartment after the robbery. No, Maris, that boy's guilty, and someday he's going to slip up again. And when he does, I'll nail him so hard it'll make his ears curl. If it takes me 20 years, I'll get him. I'll get him.
I knew the lieutenant was a bulldog of a man, tenacious beyond belief, and even though Connors meant nothing to me, I found myself pitying him. I pitied him, and then I dismissed him from my mind. However, dismissing Harry Connors was to prove more difficult than it sounded. Less than a week later, in the county law library, I was to hear his name again, this time from Wayne Powell.
Wayne, how are you?
Oh, hello, Herb.
Been a long time. Congratulations on that last case of yours, by the way.
You mean the Connors affair? I'm not so sure I deserve congratulations on that.
Oh? Why?
Take a look at that. Kemp was shot in the back this morning. They don't think he's going to live.
And you think Connors did it?
Why else would he be hiding out? You know, Herb, I didn't want to take Connors' defense in the first place. I don't like those young thugs. But I thought this one might be innocent. Well, I don't think so anymore, and if he comes back to see me, I'm going to turn him down. Why? Why? I just told you why. I think he shot Kemp.
Anybody see the shooting? Did Kemp accuse the boy?
Kemp is still unconscious.
What's Connor's story?
Herb, I don't know, and I don't care.
Oh, Wayne, come off it. You're prejudging the boy.
Oh, now, just a minute.
Well, after all, you're an attorney.
Listen, Herb. Don't try to turn this into a matter of obligations and ethics. It has nothing to do with that, and you know it.
It's got everything to do with it. Look, I don't hold any brief for this boy. Maybe he did shoot Kemp, but at least he has a right to be heard.
Not by me.
Oh. Wayne, look, do me a favor, will you? Don't make up your mind until you've at least talked to Connors, huh?
I find the closed mind frightening and terrible. Or was it my mind that was closed? Was my defense of Connors a kind of prejudice, too? I had to find out for myself. Connors' police file in the Bureau of Records listed him as highly uncooperative. He'd been orphaned at 6, he'd spent 2 years in the state reformatory, and he'd been picked up several times for questioning in regard to minor local crimes. He had no close friends. He'd been separated from his wife, Elaine, for about a year. His neighbors hardly knew him. He stayed to himself, helped no one, joined no neighborhood groups. If his acquaintances were so critical, what would his enemies say? I decided to have a talk with Kemp's partner, a man named Torrance.
Mr. Torrance?
Yeah?
My name is Maris. I'm an attorney. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Harry Connors.
For instance?
Well, for instance, did he shoot George Kemp?
Why don't you ask George?
I'd like to do that, but he's still unconscious. What I want to know is what you think.
Well, friend, I'll tell you.
Hi, Joe.
Oh, hi, Red. I got some work to do around the back. I'll see you around now.
Thank you, Mr. Maris.
Oh, you know my name.
When a big lawyer like you comes into a crummy neighborhood like this and then goes around asking questions, everybody knows.
I've seen you somewhere before, haven't I? Connor's trial. You left the court together.
Man, you got a real nervous memory, Dad, you know?
Maybe you can help me, Mr.
Dawes?
Mr. Dawes. I imagine that you and Connors are pretty close.
Just lost me.
Well, I mean, you seem very friendly at the courthouse.
Well, I tell you, man, I get kind of a charge, you know, when a kid beats a rap with the police. I mean, I like that. But I don't like Harry. You know, he was a fool to try and knock Kemp off.
How do you know he did?
How do you know he didn't?
That's not a bad question, Red. It's not a bad question at all.
Yes?
Herb, this is Powell. I have something that might interest you. I just heard from Connor's wife. She works down in a 5 and Dime on Hubbard Street, in the music department. She wanted to know if I would continue to represent her husband. I said no.
What's that got to do with me?
You were the one who was crying over him this morning, despite the fact you knew he had run away.
Oh, why wouldn't he run? Wouldn't you run if you looked around and found there wasn't a soul on earth that would help you or trust you or even listen to you?
You want to listen to him, Herb?
He's your problem, not mine.
Not anymore, he's not. I've made my decision. Maybe you've got one to make now, Herb.
What leads a man to take the path he finally chooses? Impulse? Pity? Or a compulsion that he can never hope to fully understand? Mrs. Connors was younger than I'd expected. Sensitive, and a very, very bad liar.
But I haven't seen Harry in well over 10 months now. I'm not really interested in his problems anymore. We've separated.
Mrs. Connors, may I offer you a bit of advice? As a private citizen, I think your husband got a very rough deal. But as a lawyer, I think he's being an awful fool. He's doing the one thing that always marks a man as guilty. He's running away. Now, if you have any influence on him at all, please urge him to give himself up. You'll get a fair trial.
He won't listen to me. He never did. I don't think he trusts me. I don't think he trusts anyone. Would you come talk to him?
I can't do that, Mrs. Connors. I'm sorry.
Virginia, will you take over? I'll be back in 15 minutes. Come on.
Do you realize the spot you're putting him on? Police.
Please. Just come with me. Please.
All right.
Me, Harry.
What's the matter with you?
Just take it easy, will you? I'm not the police.
This is Virginia's apartment. The girl at the store.
Who is this character?
I'm a lawyer.
Well, I ain't a client, so beat it.
Look, Harry, the only reason I'm here is because your wife wants me to talk to you. It's a little late, but they'll probably give you a break if you'll turn yourself in.
A break? Listen, I'm the original broken man with all these breaks. I'm up to here with breaks.
You sure are. A jury just cleared you. If you're innocent again, you'll get a square deal again. Weston may have a one-track mind, but at least it's a fair track.
Why should I trust him or you?
Because people can't live alone. They've got to trust somebody. It isn't so hard, Harry, if you just try it. Besides, look around you. Where are you going to go now, huh?
I didn't shoot Kemp.
Well, tell that to Weston.
He'll want to keep me, work me over.
He can't keep you. I'll arrange for bail for you myself. You'll be back with your wife in half an hour.
Please, Harry.
You better be leveling with me, mister.
Thank you.
Connors, where'd you find him? Never mind. Ray, take our little friend downstairs. I want the whole works on him. Mugshots, new prints, everything.
I'll go down with you and arrange bail.
What bail? There's no bail on the capital charge, Maris. You know that.
The charge is assault with a deadly weapon.
It's murder. Kemp died half an hour ago. We got a tape accusing you, Connors. How about that? Get him out of here.
I didn't know about this, Harry. Believe me, Harry.
Maris, what is he to you?
My client.
Your client?
I just took his case.
Well?
And you're holding Connors on that?
Why not? You heard it. The man who, something, beat me up, came back, shot me. And that man was Connors.
Connors was acquitted.
But Kemp never agreed with that acquittal.
Weston, you're blinding yourself to the facts. If Kemp had meant to accuse Connors, why wouldn't he have said Connors? Now listen, suppose the word we can't make out, the word after who, suppose that word is really. Suppose Kemp said, the man who really beat me up came back, shot me. Suppose Kemp was actually trying to clear Connors.
No, this is nonsense, Herb. The boy's guilty.
Weston, you're wrong. It was night by the time I got back to Connors' neighborhood.
I wanted to talk to Joe Torrance again. I wanted to find out what it was he'd started to tell me when Dawes had come by, and why he'd stopped. The pool hall was closed, but inside, I could see Torrance.
The place is closed. My partner died.
That's what I want to talk to you about, Mr. Torrance.
There's nothing to talk about. I've been making funeral arrangements. I thought I ought to dress up nice for that. It's all over. Go away, will you?
What were you going to tell me this morning when Dawes interrupted us?
I don't remember.
Why are you so afraid of him, Torrance?
I ain't afraid of nobody.
What's going on between Dawes and Connors? Why did Dawes go to Connors' trial?
Well, why shouldn't he be there? He paid for it.
Dawes paid for Connors' defense? Why?
I don't know. They were friends.
Not according to Dawes.
Leave it alone, will you, Maris?
Why did Dawes pay for Connors' trial?
Well, Connors worked for Dawes once.
When?
Well, he's got a novelty business over in Jensen's warehouse.
Would he be there now?
Well, he should be. He does most of his work at night.
Thanks, Torrance.
Maris, over here.
What's the matter? What happened to you? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. Weston, what's the matter with you? Can't you understand what this means?
Yes, I understand what it means. Somebody tried to kill you. But did you see who it was?
It couldn't have been anybody but Dawes. He probably got a telephone call from Torrance. Must have been afraid that I had something on him. Go after him before he leaves town. Check him out again on the Kemp killing.
I've got my killer, Herb.
Connors is innocent. What's this?
Connor's confession. He just signed it. Herb, I'll give you 5 minutes, not a second more. Is that clear?
Thanks, Weston. All right, smart boy. Let's hear you try and explain that confession.
Get out.
Why'd you do it? Weston make a deal with you?
He didn't have to. They want me to say I killed him? Okay, I'll say it. What's the difference? Who's ever helped me? The last time was when you helped me. Yeah, you helped me smack dab into this cell.
Harry, when's the last time you lifted a little finger to help somebody else, huh?
All right, lawyer. Who's ever helped me?
You're the only one who's never helped you. You know what they could do to your wife if they caught her hiding you out.
Well,
Even Weston's leaning over backwards to see that you get a good break. He didn't have to let me come up here and see you tonight. And then there's a little thing like my life, for what it's worth.
What do you mean?
I went after Dawes myself. I found out he was paying your legal fees. Now, what's the pitch, Harry? Why is Dawes so interested in you?
I can't tell you.
Why not? You afraid?
No, not for myself.
For Elaine. Who really robbed Kemp, Harry? Do you know? Come on, do you know?
Of course I know.
Was it Dawes?
Yeah.
All right, tell me.
Kemp was making a little book on the side. Dawes didn't like it. He didn't like George cutting in on his territory.
Dawes runs a book?
I wanted to see George that night. I owed him some money. I ran into Dawes just coming out. George was unconscious. He came to while I was bending over him. He thought I was the one who'd hit him in the dark.
Why didn't you tell the police?
I couldn't. Dawes knew I'd seen him. He said he'd pay for my defense if I kept my mouth shut. And he also promised me nothing would happen to Lane while I was in jail. I knew what he meant. He'd have killed her.
Well, how about the Kemp killing?
George must have found out it was Dawes who had robbed him. I suppose Dawes figured he had to end it right then.
You worked for Dawes for several years. You must know his book operation inside and out.
I do.
Will you testify against him in court? I promise you, Elaine won't be hurt.
All right.
Now, will you pick up Dawes on a bookmaking charge?
Cover the back.
Right. Hold it! Lieutenant! Oh, wait a minute! Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Give me a chance. Wait a minute! Wait a minute, Lieutenant! Wait a minute! I'm hurt. See, I don't like carry anything.
What were you running from, Dawes?
I wasn't running from anything. I couldn't help myself.
Couldn't help yourself from what?
It was self-defense, Lieutenant.
What was self-defense?
I had to kill Kemp.
Take him away.
Come.
Well, Herb, I've got to admit, I would have bet that
Not
Connors...
with me, Lieutenant. That's how Connors got into this mess.
You're so right, Counselor.